Today's video is powered by lynda.com. Hey guys, Jonathan here with TLD. Hope you guys are doing well, and today I want to talk about something that I've been getting asked on the regular, and that is, you know what, I'm not really feeling the iPhone 5S. It doesn't really appeal to me. The Galaxy S5 looks mighty attractive though, but is it enough, or should I wait and hold off until the iPhone 6 comes out? Now before we get any further into this video, I want to clearly state that at this point in time, there is no definitive answer to that question simply because the iPhone 6 does not exist yet. But I have spent quite a bit of time with the Galaxy S5, so I know that phone very well, and there's been a lot of leaks and information pointing towards the iPhone 6 that allow us to make some educated guesses on what to expect later this fall. So with all that said, at the very least, my hope for this video is that I can help one of you guys come to the conclusion that, you know what, the iPhone 6 does sound pretty appealing. At the very least, I'm gonna wait till it comes out and then decide from there. Or, none of that really sounds appealing to me. The Galaxy S5 still sounds more attractive than what the iPhone 6 could potentially offer, so I don't need to wait, and I'm gonna jump on the Galaxy S5 now. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, and if you do, no offense, that's cool, bro, you probably have seen the leaked iPhone 6 dummy that has taken over the internet. I actually just got a hold of one, and yes, I know, a little late to the party, but better late than never, and I got hooked up by the Apple leak ninja master, Sonny Dickson, so big thanks to him, and I'll have him linked down below. So what you're looking at right now is the iPhone 6 dummy model right next to the Galaxy S5, and at the very least, this gives us an idea of what to expect and how each device should feel in your hand. Now, based off this iPhone 6 dummy model, this would point us towards the iPhone 6 having a 4.7-inch display with a resolution of 1704 by 960. That's the same exact aspect ratio of the iPhone 5, 5C, and 5S, so there wouldn't be any extra screen real estate, just a bigger screen. Now, based off those specs, that would put the iPhone 6 at an effective 416 pixels per inch, which still falls short to the Galaxy S5. That has an effective 432 pixels per inch with a 5.1-inch screen at 1080p. Now, real quickly, just because I want to point that out, and we've all heard it from Apple, that they believe that the 4-inch smartphone screen size is the ideal one for one-handed use. But Tim, if that's the case, why would you release a larger 4.7 iPhone?
Well, Jonathan, because of Apple's revolutionary engineering and because the iPhone 6 is so much thinner, you can now magically use it with one hand.
Really? So how about a thumbs up for the worst Tim Cook impression on the planet, but you know I speak the truth. Now, as far as the guts and internals of the iPhone 6, we can more than likely expect a leaner, meaner A8 processor. Now, the A8 processor is rumored to utilize a smaller 20nm process as opposed to the 28nm process found on the A7, and not only is this going to help obviously with faster performance, but it's also going to be more energy efficient. Now, one thing that the A8 should share in common with the A7 is, just like its predecessor, we can expect it to be, of course, 64-bit. Another possibility with the A8 processor is it may be the first quad-core chip to hit an iPhone, so I wouldn't necessarily bank on it, but if there was going to be a quad-core iPhone, I would think that the iPhone 6 would take that crown. Now, before this turns into a flame war or a spec war, you gotta go back in time. When the iPhone 5S and the A7 came out, it proved that it's not really about the cores or the specs, and it's more so about optimization and performance, because the A7 chip, which is dual core mind you, still outperformed the quad core chip found in the Galaxy S4, and I would not be surprised if we saw a similar trait happen with the iPhone 6 and the Galaxy S5. Now, as far as RAM goes, I think we all know and can agree that Apple is not crazy about RAM upgrades, so I think the iPhone 6 will more than likely still utilize and implement 1GB of RAM. 2GB is a possibility, but not likely, and I think if anything, it might meet it in the middle with 1.5 gigs of RAM. So based off that, the Galaxy S5 should have the slight edge with 2 gigs of RAM, but again, going back to the optimization and software, take that into consideration before just solely looking at specs. Now again, based off Apple's track records and how they're not huge fans of jumping up big time in terms of specs, I would not be surprised if we saw the iPhone 6 rock an 8-megapixel camera. Now I know some people might be freaking out and say, but wait, the Galaxy S5, it has a 16-megapixel camera. That's gotta be infinitely better. And before I continue, let me point out that the Galaxy S5 has a badass camera. I really, really love that. But what we saw in terms of the iPhone 5 to the 5S in terms of low light performance, software enhancements, it was actually a considerable upgrade, even though the megapixels remain the same. Now, if we were being optimistic for a second and we were really setting our sights high for the iPhone 6, I think it would max out at 12 megapixels and nothing higher. Again, based off those specs, in terms of megapixels, the iPhone 6 will fall short to the Galaxy S5. But regardless, I think both will be awesome camera options in terms of a smartphone because of my experience with the Galaxy S5, and I think it's awesome, and based off Apple's track record and the camera found in the iPhone 5S. Now, another question I've been getting quite a bit is if I think the iPhone 6 will offer UHD or 4K video recording like the Galaxy S5 does, and the short answer is no. And the fact of the matter is, most people aren't ready for 4K. Their computer's not going to be able to handle it in terms of editing, and they probably don't have a 4K TV for playback. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I dissing the Galaxy S5 for having 4K. I just don't think it's ready for prime time, and it's not something that Apple would focus on that because of that. What I would expect on the iPhone 6 is obviously better 1080p recording and also improved slow motion. So we saw 720p at 120 frames per second on the iPhone 5S. So I think we'll see 1080p at 120 frames per second on the iPhone 6. Now, as far as features that might make one phone stand out over the other, the Galaxy S5 is IP67 water resistant and dust proof. I've tested it, it works great, and that's something that I really like about the Galaxy S5. As much as I would love the iPhone 6 to have that certification, I don't think that's going to happen, so that edge goes to the Galaxy S5. Now, yes, I know the Galaxy S5 does have a fingerprint reader like we saw on the iPhone 5S, but it is nowhere near close in terms of functionality and intuitiveness. The iPhone 5S works better in terms of a fingerprint reader, so I would expect, of course, the same from the iPhone 6. The heart rate sensor on the Galaxy S5 is cool, but it's not a game changer or not really anything special. And this isn't a knock against Samsung versus Apple or even Android versus iOS, because you can download heart rate sensors on either platform. If you guys watched my iPhone 6 top 5 features wishlist video, which if you did miss, I will have linked down below, I talked about the possibility of the iPhone 6 having sapphire glass. Now, if Apple is able to implement this and signs are pointing towards them being able to do so, that would make the iPhone 6 screen pretty much near scratch proof. Now, touching a little further on the sapphire display technology, there has been some talks and rumors, and even though this is less likely, it would still be completely awesome that Apple may implement solar charging technology into the actual display. Now, of course, I wouldn't expect it to fully charge your phone with solar energy, but at the very least, if you're outside, if you're indoors in a well-lit area, you could at least combat the battery drain and in turn effectively extend your battery life. Now, the Galaxy S5 rocks a 2800 milliamp hour battery, and I've had no complaints. It's been pretty solid. It's not amazing, but I definitely want Apple to step up their game in terms of battery life. So I think that gives us a pretty good idea. Obviously, the rest is going to come down to operating systems and preferences there. I personally use and enjoy both. The iPhone 6 will feature iOS 8, which I don't expect to be a major overhaul, but there should hopefully be some nice improvements to that. The Galaxy S5 is rocking the latest version of Android, which is a plus, but you do got to deal with that little bit of TouchWiz lag. But in terms of operating systems, I think it really comes down to personal preference. And in this category, this is something that I'll be better able to assess once I actually get both in hand. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you are feeling like being awesome, make sure to hit that like button. It is much appreciated. And before I hop out of here, I want to give a huge shout out to lynda.com for helping make this video possible. Now, just like the iPhone questions, another question I get all the time is, Jonathan, where did you learn to edit video? How did you learn to shoot video? And the simple answer is I taught myself. I love the fact that we're at a point where there's so much readily accessible information and tutorials out there, and lynda.com is taking that to the next level. So whether you want to take better pictures or video with your DSLR, learn how to create and develop a mobile app, or even just edit video period using Final Cut Pro 10 or Premiere, lynda.com offers thousands of video courses in a variety of topics. Now, I think one of the coolest things is the fact that you can learn at your own pace. So if you go to school or you got work or you got kids, because you can do this at any time, you can cater it around your schedule. Now, pricing starts out at 25 bucks a month, but they were actually nice enough to reach out to me and hook you guys up TLD fans with a free 7-day trial. All you got to do is head over to lynda.com/TLD. That'll score you a free trial. It helps the channel and everybody wins. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you stuck around this long, there is a little bonus to the end of the video. I'm gonna give away a $100 iTunes or Play Store gift card, your choice, Android or iOS. All you gotta do is leave a comment down below on why you think one is better than the other. Now, to be entered into the contest, it's gotta be civilized. Don't sit there and flame one or the other. Give me an educated answer of why you think the iPhone 6 will be better, or why you think the Galaxy S5 is and will be better than the iPhone 6. Aside from that, if you guys have any questions, make sure to leave me a comment down below. I do try to reply to as many questions as possible, but as you guys know, YouTube is a little funky and a little hard to maintain sometimes. So the best way to get a hold of me is on Twitter @TLDtoday. I am on there all the time, and you will more than likely get a reply. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day or evening, and I will see you guys later.